And welcome back to a video. Today I'll be reviewing these IK pump sprayers. Here I have the IK Foam Pro 12. I think I just said that wrong. And then the IK Multi Pro 12. I'll tell you what I like about them, what I don't like about them, the similarities between the two, and just give you my overall thoughts. We do use these in our business on a daily basis, so my experience with them I'd say is pretty good to share with you and to help you kind of give you more just guidance on whether or not you should purchase one of these. You can check the video description below for the links to both of these, as well as some smaller ones that I'll mention along the video. And if you just want to jump to a certain section of the video, check the timestamps so that can help you out as well. Let's get started with this video. Okay, so first one up is going to be the foam. Now this one is a little bit over halfway filled, which helps out a lot. And it was aired up via the compressor basically to its maximum capacity. So this is gonna be very, 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 very favorable for the pump sprayer. It's gonna be a great spray. Here we go. Now I'm gonna pump it up just to kind of get it back to some pressure. And now here it goes, a closer shot. This one's even better. Okay, so now I'm gonna pump up as much as I can of this IK. It's a little less than the other one. So let me try to max this out. There, that is completely maxed out because it released some of the pressure. So this is completely maxed out, optimal results because it's only half of the, only half filled up, so it's plenty of capacity to air it up. So here we go. Can you see that? Now this is ONR, the other one is APC. I should have mentioned that. So if you wanted to do some clay lube, some claying on it, it'd be very easy to get around the vehicle. So here we go again, trying to give you a better view. Okay, so here we have both pump sprayers from IK. This is the Foam Pro 12, yes, and then this is the Multi Pro 12. And let's get straight into features. So they're gonna be very similar in terms of specs. As far as useful capacity, it's going to be basically 2 gallons, but there's 2.5 gallons, but you need a little bit of space to air it up, so that's why you can't use everything. The hoses themselves, I think for the most part, are the same length of almost 5 feet. I think it's like 4.9. Now there is an accessory to get it to, I think, 6 feet, which I want to purchase because if you can hold it on the corner of the car, or at least kind of put it in one place without having to carry it everywhere, that's always great. They're both going to have a pressure release valve, and the thing I like about these is that you don't have to hold it up the entire time. You can pull it up and then twist it, and you can just let the air release on its own. So this one's not pressurized, so you're not gonna hear anything. Let's see if this one has a little bit of pressure. Right, so instead of holding it the entire time, you can lift it, twist it, and air it out on its own. So that's a very nice feature to have because you never want to leave things pressurized, especially like fully pressurized. You don't want that to happen. Other than that, the features are going to be very similar. You're going to twist and then pump up for each one, right? You're going to twist and then lock it like this. Same thing for this one. Pump, and then to lock it, you're going to twist it, and now these become carrying handles. Now, aside from this one sprays foam and this one sprays just your regular mist, the biggest difference to these is that the Foam Pro 12 comes with you're able to air it up via a compressor because there is a little, what do you call these? Tubes, nipples? Air hoses, outlets, whatever, to air up the compressor. So with this one specifically, the reason why we like this one so much is because we never pump it manually. We have an air compressor here, so we have the luxury of doing that. If you don't, you know, it's not going to be that good of a feature, but you don't need a big compressor. Even a pancake one would do well with this type of pump sprayer. On the Multi Pro, there is no way to pressurize it with a compressor, so this one has to be done manually. Not that it's it's not a deal breaker, but it does make it much more efficient. And if you really want that nice, thick, even foam, airing it up just makes a world's difference because you can maximize the pressure in seconds and get that nice thick layer of foam that you want out of that foam can. Like if you see videos where they're like foaming it down, more likely than not, they maximized it. They fully pressurized it with an air compressor because you can only do so much with your hand before it gets tired or you think you're maxed out. Now with the pressure release valves, once you're putting too much pressure, it is going to auto release. It'll just pop up and it'll start releasing pressure. That's always good just because you can over pressurize things and they can go kaboom. So you don't want that to happen. On the back here, they actually have a little label maker or a placeholder for a label. That way you can label it whatever you want, which comes handy if you have multiple ones. We don't, just because we know what we're doing, but it is nice to have this little feature here. You can always just put tape. If you lose this or whatever, you can always just put like a little piece of tape, whether a color coded tape or just write what it is and tape it over with another tape to hold it down. So all in all, the features are just about the same. They both have this carrying harness or whatever you want to call this. We don't use that. We don't put it over our shoulders. That's more for like, I think, gardening or things like that. So we're not carrying it. We're not really traveling with it or walking around that much with it. We just kind of move around the vehicle. So we don't really use this per se. Now, a nice other little feature in the bottom here is that there's a little placeholder. So you get to feed the wand through this top part and then place it down right here. So it does make it very compact to kind of store everything. Now, it is kind of bulky in a sense that like you have the wand sticking out, you have this little part here. So it's not like as tight of a fit as like other pump sprays where it's just a cylinder. But nonetheless, it is still very compact for what it is. And it doesn't take much space, assuming you have enough space to just place it where you want it to be. Overall, the build quality is top-notch, phenomenal. The handle, the hose, the plastic or whatever plastic it is, it holds up very well. Again, we do this as a business, so ours isn't gonna look clean. Yes, it's a little dusty, a little dirty, a little banged up, but that's because we can't spend that much time every single day making sure everything is polished and clean and no speck of dust is on there. So if it was, you can make this a lot cleaner and make it look presentable, but for us, no, because tomorrow we're just gonna use them and bang them up all the time. But I'm saying this because we do put them through the ringer. We do use them on a daily basis. We always are pressurizing them, moving them around, using them, pressing the trigger, and they've been holding up very, very well for us. And I am just very, very happy with these. Now, the downside to them is one, price, right? It's like $120, $30, so they're not cheap. Two, the size of it, right? Because you can have like a 32 ounce, 45 ounce pump sprayer, which will do the same thing. You can have a foam sprayer or not, or just a regular multi-purpose multi-pump sprayer. But with that one is that you're gonna have to keep on refilling it. The pressure is gonna lose fast. You're gonna lose the pressure faster just because it's a smaller pump sprayer. And again, that could be a con, maybe not, depending if you're in a garage or in an apartment complex or something. So that's dependent on the situation that you are. But The size of it could or could not be a con. And as great as it is as far as capacity, that means you also have to always pump it up in a sense of where, like, if you're at 80% filled with your cleaner, whatever you're using, it's not gonna take much time to manually pump it up. Now, if you're at 20% or 30%, for whatever reason, right? Obviously, like, if you keep it up filled most of the time, it's gonna be easier to pump, but given the situation, you're not always gonna have it filled. So if you have it, 1/4 the way filled up, you're gonna have to pump a lot more to get it somewhat pressurized to give you somewhat, whatever desired spray that you want. So you always have to keep it filled, and depending if you're out of product or you just, I don't know, whatever reason, that might be a nuance as well. Now, if you have a compressor, if you have the foam one and you want to compress it, that makes life much easier. But at the same time, a con to this one is that you need a compressor in order to make this happen, and not everyone is just going to have a compressor lying around. This one isn't a con, but just something I'd like to note, depending on your situation, is that the hose itself, again, we'll probably get the 6 feet one because we like to kind of keep it on one side, use it as much as we can without actually picking it up. And when we do have to pick it up, we can just move it once to the other side and get the rest of the vehicle. Now, I'm not a fan of always having to hold this and walk around with that one. Again, for most people, I don't think that's going to be a problem, but for us, or if you're doing this on multiple vehicles, that might be something that you'd want to look into. Now, you definitely can switch out the tips for the foam. They come with several ones. We keep it on the same one. You kind of have to play around with which one best fits you. We're not too picky of the type of foam or whatever. It's, as long as it's pressurized well, you're gonna get a good thick foam. Same thing with the multi-purpose. They have several, I think they have 2. I don't know if this is the only one. This is the one that we're using. But again, we don't put too much emphasis on the spray itself, more so that it's properly pumped. As far as for this specific application, because we use these for wheels, tires, and engines, so we're not too picky of the exact fan that we need. If we were doing like leather seats or whatever, we'll be a lot more picky because we want to have a more specific type of fan and spray on there. But for this application, we're not too worried about the tip that we have on it. Okay, and that's gonna wrap up this video. Hopefully it helped you out whether you should buy one or not. I do thoroughly enjoy both of these. We do use this as a business, so we have a lot more of applications that we need them for. If you have any questions about them, if you need me to help you with anything or I can clarify anything, ask a question, leave a comment down below. And again, check the video description for the links to this or for other things that I have that, I don't know, I'll link something else on there. I'll talk to everyone on the next one. Bye-bye.